Every single book which I've topper suggested, but nothing worked for me.
I was like कि नहीं होगा छोड़ देते हैं, नहीं हो रहा है तो क्या फ़ायदा इनको दोबारा पढ़ने से.
I would like to thank StudyIQ. I got connected to StudyIQ.
StudyIQ ने मेरा मेंस तक मैंने साथ दिया, उसके बाद भी उन्होंने मेरा साथ नहीं छोड़ा.
And I have taken this mock at StudyIQ.
And I would recommend StudyIQ.
Yes, I will definitely recommend StudyIQ.
Hello everyone, I'm Ankit and you're watching StudyIQ IAS English channel. In our today's video, we are going to understand the reasons why Kerala is wanting certain changes in the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. First, let us understand the context of our today's discussion. Now, Kerala government, it has sought the permission of Union government so that it could kill certain animals that is posing threat to human life and properties in the state of Kerala, and for that it has requested the central government to make amendments to the Wildlife Protection Act so that the state can be allowed to kill wild animals that are foraying into human habitat. So this basically is an issue relating to man and wildlife conflict or human or wildlife conflict, and to alleviate these kind of conflicts or to make easier for the government to regulate these animals foraying into the human settlements, it wants certain changes so that it can end the lives of these animals. So let us start our today's discussion by first understanding what is the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, because only after that now you'll be able to ascertain what are the reasons that is forcing Kerala to demand amendment and what changes can be made to Wildlife Protection Act so that the demands of states like Kerala can be accommodated into it, right? First, let us understand certain provisions about the Wildlife Protection Act. Now, this act was set up with an objective to protect and conserve wildlife in India and habitats by preventing instances of poaching, hunting, as well as illegal trade in wildlife. Now, it divides animals and plants into different schedules. For example, first schedule, it provides highest level of protection to species of certain animals like tiger, lion, etc. They are protected in schedule first, right? Similarly, schedule second is also for animals. Here, animals are given lesser level of protection as compared to animals that are mentioned in schedule 1. Similarly, schedule 3rd is of protected plant species, whereas schedule 4th are of species that are listed under CITES convention. Now, earlier when the Wildlife Protection Act 1972 was enacted, there were 6 schedules, but in 2021 the government made an amendment to this Wildlife Protection Act. It changed what the 6 schedules were, and now this act only has 4 schedules, right? So please remember this recent changes that has been done in the Wildlife Protection Act. Now there are only 4 schedules that are mentioned in the Wildlife Protection Act. How are animals protected in schedule 1 and schedule 2? We'll discuss it in our today's discussion, right? Now, the authority and powers that are given to different officials at both state and union government level so as to regulate these species that are mentioned in different schedules of the Wildlife Protection Act. For example, Chief Wildlife Warden of a particular state government, he or she is empowered to permit killing of animals only in 2 cases. First, if the animal cannot be captured or relocated safely, or in second instance, if that animal poses an immediate danger to human life. So in these 2 instances, the Chief Wildlife Warden of a state can permit killing of certain animals. Similarly, the District Collector acting in his capacity as executive magistrate also has the power under the erstwhile CRPC Act to manage public nuisances, but this provision faces certain legal limitations in cases of wildlife cases. What are those legal limitations? Also, we'll discuss it in our today's discussion, right? Now, also there is a special condition for protected animals, especially the ones that are mentioned in Schedule 1. It says that it requires special permission and adherence in advisory capacity, especially if the Chief Wildlife Warden of the state wants to permit killing of these animals, but first it has to sort permissions for different authorities. For example, if they want to kill tigers, they need to first seek permission from the National Tiger Conservation Authority. Similarly, if they want to kill certain elephants that is creating nuisances or harming the public life, they need to take permission from the Project Elephant, right? So this is how the permission needs to be taken from different authorities also before the chief wildlife warden of a state can permit killing of any animal who is posing threat to human life. Similarly, there is also provision for declaring species as vermin species under the Section 62 of Wildlife Protection Act. It states that the central government, not state government, central government may declare certain animals as vermin for specific period and areas, and this is a temporary relaxation only for hunting, so that to control the populations of certain animals who are threatening human life or agriculture. So this is basically what the Kerala is demanding. We'll discuss what Kerala is demanding in a subsequent slides. Okay, so this is a section of Wildlife Protection Act that gives central government the power to allow killing of certain animals who are posing threat to human life and agriculture, and this is only a temporary relaxation. Okay, now let us understand the reasons why is Kerala demanding an amendment or changes in Wildlife Protection Act. First is because there is an rising instances of human wildlife conflict in the state of Kerala. For example, state of Kerala has said that out of 941 villages in Kerala, they have identified 273 villages where instances of such human wildlife conflict are happening, and these have emerged as a hotspot of human wildlife conflict. Similarly, in terms of casualties in the last 10 years or so, this Kerala government has highlighted that it has resulted into 919 deaths, as well as very close to 9,000 people have been injured because of these human-animal wildlife conflict. Similarly, the species that are creating problems for people in Kerala, these are tiger, leopard, elephant, as well as wild boar, as well as a monkey species known as bonnet macaque and peafowl. And especially the populations of wild pigs and bonnet macaque are a notable thing, because the population of these species particularly has witnessed a quite dramatic explosion, and because of this, this is leading to frequent raids on crops and property in the state of Kerala. So this is the reason why Kerala government is wanting these animals to be killed, and it wants the central government to allow themselves to kill these animals. Similarly, government of Kerala has made certain preventive measures also to reduce these instances of human wildlife conflict, but these preventive measures have not paid rich dividend or not have led to elimination of these human wildlife instances. For example, traditional methods are employed by governments like fencing of human settlements, translocation of certain species that are creating problems in human wildlife settlements, but these have not been effective in dealing the instance of human wildlife conflict. And currently the wild boar control system also, which allows a licensed shooter to kill these wild boars, have not proven effective because of their impractical guidelines. For example, there is a guideline that before killing such wild boar, the licensed shooter need to first ascertain whether that wild boar is pregnant or not, right? So these kind of guidelines have been imposed, and these are not very effective when you need to cull these populations of these kind of animals. Also, there are legal and administrative constraints also. I told you, right, the district collector has powers under the erstwhile CRPC to regulate these animals, but there are stringent procedures under the existing laws which have created delay and has prevented the timely intervention of the authorities to prevent these instances of human wildlife conflicts. And court orders, especially the orders made by Supreme Court of India and regulation, they restrict such quick action. So these are the legal restrictions despite such provisions giving the powers to district collector, giving the powers to state wildlife warden. There are many guidelines, many court orders that prevent them to exercise their powers, right? So these are the reasons which has let the Kerala government ask the union government to amend Wildlife Protection Act and allow the Kerala government to kill these animals, right? Now, the changes that the government of Kerala is sorting from the union government is, first, it wants the wildlife boars to be declared as vermin for a certain period under Section 62 of the Act. So when these wildlife boars will be declared as vermin, then the state government can kill these animals. Similarly, the state governments want to address that the bonnet macaque, which is a species we'll cover in detail today, they need to be removed from the category of Schedule 1 species. I told you, Schedule 1 species have the highest protection status as per the Wildlife Protection Act, so you can't kill or capture these animals without the permission of central government, and these species were added in the Schedule 1 only recently, 3 years back, that is in 2022. Until then, the chief wildlife warden, before these species were added into Schedule 1, they could order capturing and relocating of monkeys who were creating mayhem. But now, since they have been added to Schedule 1, the wildlife warden cannot take any action on its own to counter these threats. They need to take permission from the union government. So that is why Kerala government is asking the permission of union government to allow it to kill certain animals, specifically wild boars and specifically bonnet macaque. Now, what are bonnet macaque, why are in the news, and what are so special about these species? Let us find out. Now, this is the image of a bonnet macaque. This is basically a monkey or a monkey species that is prevalent in the southern part of the country. The biological name of the species is Macaque radiata, and it is also known as the name Zati, and it is a species of monkey that are endemic to southern part of the India. So there, if any species is in news, we discuss three characteristics of these species: their habitats, their habits, and their protection status. So first, let us find out what their known habitats are. Now, I told you these species are specifically relocated or located in southern part of the country. So their geographical distribution, it is limited by Indian Ocean on the three sides of the southern peninsula, whereas in the north, the rivers of Tapti and Godavari, along with its other tributaries, they regulate their geographical restriction. And on the northern part of these rivers, there exists another species of monkey that are prevalent in northern part of the India. They are rhesus macaque, right? So basically, there are two wild species of monkeys living in India. In the north, there are rhesus macaque, and in the south, it is bonnet macaque, right? So this was the known habitats of these species. Now let us understand habits as well as protection status of these species, right? Now let us discuss the habits. Now these monkey species, they are known to be diurnal. What is a diurnal species? Those kind of species that are active during the day and they sleep during the night, those are diurnal species. For example, we humans, we are also diurnal species. Monkeys, they are also arboreal in nature. Arboreal means the species that majorly are located or they are preferring to live on trees, right? So that's why they are arboreal in nature, and they are also terrestrial, not aquatic animals, obviously. And in terms of dietary preferences, these monkeys, they are omnivorous, which means they eat not just fruits, nuts and seeds, but also small insects, and sometimes they even eat on crops. So their habit of eating crops is what is creating the conflict of man and human wildlife conflict, because they eat on agricultural settlements, which leads to significant losses for the farmers who have planted those crops. Now, another behavioral pattern of these bonnet macaque is that they prefer to live in groups or troops as the other monkeys, and there is a clear hierarchy of dominance within the group, both in terms of males and females. But one aspect about these monkeys are different from another monkeys, that male bonnet macaque, they are generally far more laid back in their attitude, and they have a carefree attitude in their social life, which makes them different from other macaque species. For example, the competition among the male bonnet macaque species is not so significant. They are rather very subdued, because these monkeys are of pacifist nature. They favor resolving of conflict not by violence but rather by pacifism. So that is why I told you they are more laid back and carefree in their attitude as compared to other monkeys. Other monkeys are far more aggressive as compared to bonnet macaque. Understand? Now the last part of the discussion is the protection status of these species. Now these species in the IUCN Red List, they are listed as vulnerable species. In the CITES Convention that regulate trading of animals who are endangered, they are mentioned in Appendix 2, which means it requires countries to monitor their trade. It requires countries to regulate their trade, especially those animals, to ensure that it does not lead to exploitation of these species. This is somewhat more relaxed as compared to Appendix 1 species. If a species is mentioned in Appendix 1, it means trade of these species are prohibited unless there is an emergency circumstances, whereas trade can happen for Appendix 2 species, but they need to be regulated by the states, right? Whereas in the Wildlife Protection Act, I've already told you, these bonnet macaque are currently mentioned under Schedule 1, which means hunting, which means capturing of these animals are prohibited by law, right? So this is what you needed to know about bonnet macaque species. Now, let us solve the practice question. But before that, I have something I wanted to let you know. Now, species that are in news, we cover them especially when it appears in the news. But what about the other species that are critically endangered and not in news? Well, we discuss about those species in great detail in our Pratikya batches. Pratikya batches are the batches that cover everything from your prelims, mains as well as interview, and these are P2I foundation batches, right? And currently we are taking admissions for evening batch of 2026, which is now available at 28,999 if you use the code ATS live, and the admissions of this batch will close on 15th of June. To take admissions in the batch and to apply the discount, how to apply that, let me demonstrate it to you. Right now you need to go to our website first, right? This is the website. You'll be needing to log in by using your mobile number. Once you're done logging in with your mobile number, what you need to do in the languages part here, you need to select English, because I understand people who are watching this video, you might not be comfortable with Hindi or with a bilingual batch, right? So please opt for English batch if you want to get educated specifically and exclusively in English language, right? On the left hand tile here is the tile that you need to click if you want to take admissions in the batch that I told you, that is the Pratika evening batch, right? Click on buy now. Once you click on buy now, see the course is now available at 35,999, okay? But I'll tell you a way where you can get admissions on this course on a discounted rate even on this amount, right? Click buy now here. Once you click buy now, on your right there is an option to add promo code. Click on add promo code. When you add promo code, in an option here, you are required to enter coupon code. There must be a code which is flashing on the bottom half of the screen, right? Write ATS live there, okay? Which is the code that says use the code ATS live to get maximum discount, right? So write ATS live and click apply. As soon as you click apply, see the discount of 7,000 rupees is now applied, and the course fees for diamond batch is 28,999. For platinum is at 23,999, and for gold is at 13,999. You can take admissions in either of these three as per your own wish, obviously. But if you ask my opinion now, I'll tell you to opt for diamond batch. And why am I telling you to opt for diamond batch? Because diamond batches have many benefits that the other platinum and gold batches don't. For example, obviously you'll be getting live classes, lecture notes, one-to-one membership. But what diamond course provides you and other course don't, that you'll be getting a mains residential program. So suppose if you clear prelims, well and good, you'll be brought to Delhi and all your fair expenses like staying, food, studies will be taken care of by StudyIQ. Similarly, you'll also be getting prelims residential program if you demonstrate good academics during your course duration. Also, you'll be getting a selection box, which is different books for subjects which are relevant from your exams perspective, margdarshan by faculties themselves, as well as a scholarship. These are two types of scholarship. For example, if you clear prelims, all of your course fees will be refunded. And if you top your monthly exams every month, you'll be eligible to get a financial reward of 11,000 rupees every month, right? So these are the benefits that are available in diamond batches. That is why I was telling you opt for diamond batches, okay? Now, to compare things or features of different batches, there is a separate column here I've attached in the notes. You can download it later on. So please make your decision accordingly, right? Now, the practice question that I need you to solve before this session ends is this question. Please do let me know the correct answer of this question in the comment section. If you get it right, obviously, I'll give your comments a thumbs up so you'll know it that you've solved it correctly. And the notes for the session, they will be available on my Telegram channel. This is called as ATS Live. So you can go to your Telegram, search ATS Live, you'll find the channel, subscribe it if you still haven't, and download the notes. For some reason, if you still are unable to find the channel, this is the QR code that will take you there. Subscribe to it, okay? So this brings an end to our today's discussion. We'll see each other again. Please have a very good night and do not forget to download the notes, okay?
Every single book which have toppers suggested, but nothing worked for me.
I was like कि नहीं होगा छोड़ देते हैं, नहीं हो रहा है तो क्या फ़ायदा इनको दोबारा पढ़ने से.
I would like to thank StudyIQ. I got connected to StudyIQ.
StudyIQ ने मेरा मेंस तक मैंने साथ दिया, उसके बाद भी उन्होंने मेरा साथ नहीं छोड़ा.
And I have taken this mock at StudyIQ.
And I would recommend StudyIQ.
Yes, I will definitely recommend StudyIQ.